Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Today I have for you the second part of my fortune teller look, and I'm going to be showing you how to create the eyeball and how to apply the eyeball and add the gore to this look. So if this is a video on something that you're interested in, please continue watching. So to create the eye, I started off with a ping pong ball and cut it in half, and now I'm just trimming down the edges in order to create the right rays of eyeball I want. This eyeball will be quite big, but it does look effective in the end, but you could also buy an eye. To make sure that edge isn't very sharp, I'm just filing it down with a nail file to make it nice and smooth. So using a reference picture of my model's eye, I'm just drawing out the iris and the pupil with a pencil. And to create all the blues, I'm taking a light blue, I'm taking a tad of green because she has a little bit of green in her eye, some black to add a darker colour, and some white to make it lighter. I'm going to start off with a middle tone first, so I'm just taking quite a bit of that blue, I didn't take enough, but you want quite a bit, and add the tiniest little bit of green, which you can see I added too much green, so I had to keep adding more blue, which was a bit of a pain in the bum. Added a little bit of black, and then finally I kind of lightened it down with some more white to make that mid-tone rather than a dark tone. I'm just using acrylic paints because they're the most opaque, and it's going to help create a realistic eyeball. So I'm going to take that colour and just paint in the iris. It's good to kind of start off with a middle tone and then add in the dark and the light as you want. Kind of makes it a lot easier. I'm now going to add a tiny little bit of black to that mixture to make it a darker colour to create the depth of the eye. Mix it all in. And then I'm going to be creating a sort of depth around the outer part of the iris and towards the inner pupil part. This is kind of how the eye looks. If you look at a picture, it will help you create the most realistic eye. But I'm kind of just blending it into that mid-tone. You'll have a lot of switching colours, but don't worry, that's just the process that you need in order to create an eyeball. Next I'm going to be just adding a tiny bit of blue to white, and I'm going to just create a middle section of the eye. The middle section is always the lightest part of the iris, so that's what I'm creating here. And then I kind of do take some more concentrated amounts of white and add in the little light bits of the eye. You want to make sure the dark colour doesn't overpower the actual eye colour. I kind of just dot in the white and then I kind of blend it out and diffuse it with my brush. And then I'm just going in with that darker colour and just diffusing everything in. The next part you'll need to do is just painting the iris, and I'm just taking pure black for that. Boom. I'm then going to go in and highlight the iris and the pupil with a bit of white. This is really cool to add in light, and it makes it look really white and realistic. Boom. I'm just going to be painting the white part of the ball with a little bit more white because I feel like it just looked a little bit too grey for an eye. And this is the time that you can actually go in and tidy up that pupil and that iris. I'm mixing in a little bit of pink with white, just a tiniest little bit, and I'm painting that towards the edge of the eyeball. It doesn't matter if you get your fingerprints on the edge of the eyeball because that will be covered by the latex and the cotton later on. So you can just grab it while it's wet, don't worry about it drying in each layer. But I'm just going to give it a bit of a pinky fleshy tone. Next, to add some veins, I'm just taking a fine liner, a red fine liner, and creating little veiny textures. Don't worry if this is too strong, because after we've drawn them all on, we're going to go over with the white paint while it's still wet, and it just kind of diffuses them and again helps to add that pinkish tone. It's really creepy. Once that paint is all dry, I just went over that with a clear nail varnish to make it shiny. So to stick the eye on, I'm going to be using liquid latex. If you don't have this, you can totally use eyelash glue, it works just the same. And I'm going to be applying some around the edge of the eye and then just pressing it on. As you can see, I kind of got that a little bit wonky, so you want to make sure it's way straighter than I have put it on. So I'm just going to move it to the side. Boom. So I'm going to be applying latex around the edge. I did apply quite a lot. Thinner layers work better because they dry quicker. But if you're kind of in a rush, it was really late for me, this will be fine. So I kind of apply some latex all around the edge, kind of in sections. Just with a Q-tip because I don't want to ruin any brushes. Latex is a little bitch for ruining everything. But this is kind of going to seal it in. And then I kind of take pieces of cotton and just pop that around the edge. You can roll them into thin sort of textured balls, but either way you just want to apply that around the edge of the eyeball. And then you're going to go back in with latex and smooth it all down. You can even use a Q-tip, which worked quite well. You can use your finger, a spatula. I even used my nail at some points because it worked really well. You just want to work fairly quickly, but make sure you work in little sections. Like I said, it's good to give each layer to dry, but I really didn't have time. And you can go in and dry it with a hairdryer if you don't have time either. Once you've secured the eyeball, I'm just going to set a little bit of powder. You can use a translucent or a coloured one. That's just going to take away all the stickiness, but there shouldn't be too much if it's completely dry. I'm next going to go in with the foundation that we use and just add some colour in it. It doesn't matter if this is really stand out because we're going to shade it anyway, because it's going to be a little bit irritated if it's growing out your head. I'm going to go in with a dark brown colour. I believe this is Whiskey from the Naked Smoky palette, and I'm just going around the perimeter of the eye and kind of blending that in to add some depth to make it a bit more three-dimensional. Even though it kind of already is, but you want to add some shadow. And then I blend that out with a pencil brush. Next I'm going to be creating sort of a little lid on the upper part of the eye. I did do this on the lower part, but I just didn't like it. So I just pat in the eyeshadow and then go back in with my foundation just to blend it. I use a nice flat brush for that. I'm going to add some Frankly Scarlet Red blusher just to make the skin look irritated and kind of blend it in a little bit. I'm then going in with an eyelash and sticking it on. Because I wasn't at home, I didn't have the best eyelashes to use, so I kind of went with what I had. But you can be inventive with this if you want to. I'm going to dab some blood around the outer part of the eye. My camera didn't pick up all of this because it died. But I'll just show you kind of briefly me applying it to the edge. But you'll see the finished product there in a second. Little bit of blood that I can show you before my camera dies on me. And my hair. There you go. I'm just going to then drip down some blood from the eye because it looks way more effective. As you can see, I completely missed with the spray gun. This isn't the best technique because it's a little bit dangerous. But basically, there you have it. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks again to my lovely model Anna. She looks great with her third eye. I really hope you enjoyed it, and please give me a thumbs up. And don't forget to share if you can, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye!
Oh, that was in the shower.
I haven't glued it yet.
It was a spider or something. I was like, fuck.
Fuck Dad. Oh shit, I nearly tripped over my camera. I don't know why I just had an accent then. Where the fuck did that come from? Oh.
Me.
Is that you? Is your crotch vibrating again?
It's my phone telling me to go to bed.
Let's find my room again because it's an absolute tit. Tits, is that the right word? Don't think so.
Tit.
It's an absolute tip. I said tits. Thinking of boobs as well.